In one of the most disruptive early spring weather outbreaks in recent years, a massive line of severe thunderstorms tore through the Ohio Valley and the upper Midwest overnight, unleashing torrential rain, destructive hail, and damaging wind gusts that left thousands of residents waking up to scenes of destruction. The storm system, fueled by a sharp cold front plowing into warm, moisture-rich air, produced large hailstones measuring between 1 and nearly 3 inches in diameter, strong enough to shatter home windows, dent vehicles, crack windshields, and tear through exterior siding. Emergency services across Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, and western Pennsylvania fielded hundreds of calls as the nighttime barrage pounded communities well past midnight. Weather officials described the outbreak as high-impact, fast-moving, and unusually intense for late March, striking a corridor home to millions of people. Although no major tornadoes were confirmed during the night, the hailstorm itself produced damage levels typically associated with tornadic supercells. The worst of the destruction unfolded between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m., when multiple supercell clusters flared along the advancing cold front. Doppler radar signatures repeatedly showed strong hail cores descending on towns in northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and eastern Illinois, often with little warning. Residents described the sound of the hail as deafening, like gravel or metal bolts being poured onto the house. Several said they initially believed someone was trying to break into their home as windows cracked and screens tore away. In pockets of Ohio and Indiana, hailstones struck with enough force to break living room windows, punch holes in skylights, and collapse weakened porch panels. Entire neighborhoods woke to shattered glass, shredded aluminum siding, and yards littered with debris stripped from roofs. Maintenance crews spent the early morning hours boarding up broken windows for families whose living spaces were exposed to the cold, post-frontal air mass that swept in behind the storms. Roadside damage assessments revealed row after row of vehicles with dented hoods, smashed sunroofs, and fully spider-webbed windshields. In some areas, parked cars appeared as though they had endured a full day in a hail testing laboratory. Transportation officials reported temporary closures on surface roads, where hail accumulated so heavily that plows were required to clear intersections. Drivers caught on highways during the peak of the storm described conditions as near zero visibility, with hail bouncing across the pavement like marbles and forcing traffic to a halt.
We're losing glass! We are losing the glass!
Utility companies across the region confirmed that power outages affected tens of thousands of homes, primarily due to fallen branches and hail-damaged transformers. Repair crews worked through the night, but warned that some outages would last well into the next day. Emergency responders in smaller communities were stretched thin as simultaneous calls flooded dispatch centers. Firefighters in several towns were dispatched to homes where hail had broken attic windows and allowed water to pour in, soaking insulation and interior ceilings. In northwest Ohio, a nursing facility reported multiple cracked exterior windows, though no injuries were sustained. Schools across parts of Indiana and Ohio delayed openings Friday morning, citing unsafe bus routes, debris-covered parking lots, and ongoing assessments of rooftop and window damage. Home repair companies reported a surge in calls for emergency tarping, temporary window covering, and roof inspections. Insurers likewise braced for thousands of claims related to hail-damaged siding, gutters, shingles, bricks, and vehicles.
I don't think it's even finished with us yet.
Meteorologists warned of the setup, but not the intensity forecasters had already raised concerns earlier in the day, issuing a level 2 to 3 severe weather risk across the Midwest and Ohio Valley. The combination of a strong jet stream dip, deeply unstable warm air at the surface, and a rapidly approaching cold front. What surprised many experts, however, was the duration of the hail threat and the size of the stones, as the storm maintained energy well into the late-night hours. Weather analysts noted that the transition zone between warm and cold air created sustained updrafts capable of growing hailstones to dangerous sizes. Some radar returns indicated hail cores, reaching heights supportive of golf ball, hen egg, and localized lemon-sized hailstones. Parents hurried to move children to interior hallways as glass shattered and tree branches crashed into porches. Videos circulating online show backyards littered with ice chunks, some larger than baseballs, scattered across destroyed lawn furniture. In the hours following the storm, local governments across the Ohio Valley activated their damage assessment teams, moving door to door to catalog the extent of the destruction. Early estimates indicated hundreds of properties sustained moderate to severe hail damage, with several neighborhoods reporting clusters of homes where multiple windows were broken simultaneously as the storm passed overhead. Insurance adjusters described the damage pattern as consistent with a fast-moving supercell producing high-velocity hail, noting that the broken glass was overwhelmingly on the storm-facing sides of buildings. Community centers in Indiana and Ohio opened early to provide temporary shelter for families whose homes had been compromised by broken windows and roof leaks. Volunteers distributed plastic sheeting, plywood boards, and emergency kits as overnight temperatures dipped sharply behind the incoming cold air mass. In some areas, residents were advised to avoid certain streets where hail had clogged storm drains. causing localized flooding that complicated the cleanup. Agricultural areas also suffered losses. Several farms reported that the barrage of ice shredded greenhouse panels, damaged livestock shelters, and flattened early season crops, leaving farmers frustrated as they surveyed the fields at sunrise. Agricultural officials warn that the economic impact may grow over the coming days as assessments continue. Despite the destruction, emergency management agencies praised the public's response. Many families took shelter promptly after receiving wireless emergency alerts, and local storm spotters provided real-time updates that helped meteorologists refine warnings. Officials stressed that the outcome could have been far worse given the late hour of the storm's peak intensity. As recovery unfolds, structural engineers and roofing specialists are urging homeowners to perform thorough inspections rather than rely on quick visual checks. Even hail smaller than 3 inches can compromise shingles, crack vents, and weaken roof decking, which may cause long-term issues if unnoticed.
I don't think it's even finished with us yet.
For many in the Ohio Valley, the night of March 26th to 27th will stand as a stark reminder of how quickly severe weather can escalate and how vital preparation remains during the volatile spring season. As daylight broke, the scale of the destruction became clearer. Damage stretched more than 400 miles, impacting suburban areas, farming towns, and major travel corridors. Officials emphasized that although the storm was severe, the swift public response and well-timed warnings prevented injuries from becoming widespread. Meteorologists warn that early spring remains a volatile period for the central United States. With temperatures fluctuating dramatically, additional severe weather setups are possible in the coming weeks. For now, the Ohio Valley faces a lengthy cleanup effort. Families must repair their homes, file insurance claims, and replace damaged property, all while bracing for the next potential round of spring storms.